Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pappy Hour. This is Pappy coming to you with another exciting episode of my show. Let's start with a disclaimer. This show, we talk about all kinds of topics, and honestly, I have no filter. Yes, you're going to hear some profanity in here because I tell it like it is. I don't discriminate. I'm simply an asshole to everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to January 6, 2019. So, we're on our second episode of Pappy Hour here, and I want to say thank you to everybody that has been listening in and has sent me in some comments and stuff like that. And we're getting a pretty good response. Had 31 downloads of our last show in 8 different states, so that's pretty neat. I'm liking that. Found that we can be found on Stitcher, Google Play, Radio Public, Spotify, and then iTunes is approving us right now. So we will see how that goes. Got a lot of interesting things to talk about today in the show, and actually made a lot of notes. So you might hear some paper rustling around because I want to make sure I get everything covered. But to keep up with my New Year's resolution here, we got what's in the fruit basket. So last week we had Twinkies in the fruit basket. Now I never said I was going to necessarily just have fruit, but we're going to have fruit eventually in the basket. But right now in the basket I've got my Keebler Chips Deluxe with M&Ms in it. You know, got to keep them going because that's one of my junk foods I like to eat. So, alright, so today we're going to be talking about a few things. I've got a few little topics that we'll touch base on, and one of them will be, we're going to talk about Star Wars. I know that sounds kind of corny, but that's my type of show. I love Star Wars, and I've loved Star Wars since I was a kid. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. You know, the new episode 9 coming out, and some of my theories on that. And I'm going to rant about the government shutdown for a little bit. And then we're going to talk about some of the movies that are out. Kind of like my opinions on them. And some stuff. And then the funny one for the day is going to be about a man that is suing Burger King. He's suing Burger King because they're not giving him his food for life that they apparently promised him. So we'll talk about that as well. But what's new with Pappy? So Pappy, I'm kind of going through some herniated disc issues. So some of my podcasts are probably going to be while I'm lying in bed with my microphone, so that might be interesting. I've got some herniated disc, arthritis is building up, but I get to see a surgeon on the 11th, so we'll see how that goes. So Pappy will give you an update on that. But it should be fun. It's cold here in Arizona. We actually had probably one of our coldest winters in a while. It actually got some snow down in Tucson, which is south of the Phoenix metro area where I'm at, and then surrounding areas around Phoenix got a little bit of snow as well, so that was kind of cool to see them on the mountaintops. But again, there's a reason why we live in Phoenix, Arizona, so we don't have to shovel it. That's right, we use that salt for margaritas. Sorry, people. Alright, let's see here what we got. Alright, so my rant of the day, because we want, you know, I've got a rant. I've got a rave on something. So, you know, I watch Cops. I watch TV shows a lot. And one of the things I always notice, and I don't know what the hell it is about, but people being pulled over. Now, it could be something simple. You know, they forgot to turn the turn signal on or whatnot, and they're being pulled over. And then all of a sudden, they freaking run from the police. They're driving high speeds, get out and run. Whatever the case may be. I mean, are these people freaking serious? I don't get it. Okay, so you might have gotten pulled over and your license is suspended or something. The worst they're going to do is give you another ticket and tow your car. But no, you would decide you want to drive 100-something mile an hour down the highway, cutting people off the roads, causing more damage. Now you got felony charges. What the hell is wrong with you? You know, if there's anybody out there that has actually run from the police, it actually has a valid reason, I want you to tell me what the hell you were thinking, because I just don't get it. I mean, you know, something simple, you could end up causing, you know, deaths of other people, you know, property damages, all that stuff. I mean, I don't care what you do to yourself, but don't bring other people into it, man. I mean, it's just as simple as let them tow your car, get your ticket. Don't be an idiot. I just don't get it. But apparently, people think that they can outrun these cops with all these new technologies they got now, man. You've got the ghetto bird that flies overhead. You're not going to outrun that guy. I can tell you that right now. But, they've got people going down the wrong way on the highway to try to get away from cops. These police officers already put their lives on the line. Way too much. And it's a thankless job that they do. And then they've got idiots that do that kind of stuff. And then if they get pulled over and they tell you to keep your hands up, keep your damn hands up. You can put your hands behind your back and start reaching in your pockets. Shit, I'd shoot you too. I mean, the ultimate goal is to go home at the end of the night. But, if you're going to make it perceived like there's a threat against me, I'm going to pull my firearm out and I'm going to shoot you too. So I stand behind the police officers with that. I mean, I know there are some that possibly were a little overly aggressive. Sure, I'm sure that happens. But then again, you don't think about the adrenaline that's pumping, what kind of call they just came from, what kind of experiences they've been through. And people don't get that. They don't pay attention to that, And even in the security industry, I kind of see it because I've been through some of those situations where I've had guns pulled on me. I've had knives pulled on me. I've had people threaten to kill me, and that adrenaline starts pumping, and it's hard to bring yourself down, without overacting or thinking on it too hard. So, I give those guys a lot of credit for that. But at the same time, if you put your hands in your pocket, I'm thinking you're going to pull out a gun or a knife. I'm not going to wait until you're pointing that thing at me. So I get that. Or if they tell you to get down on the ground, get on the damn ground. As simple as that. Why fight them? Because number one, you're going to get hurt. Number two, you're going to get more charges added to your charge list. So why not just cooperate? I mean, I don't get it. Let's see here. What else we got? Being in the security industry. One of the things that I like to try to tell everybody is kind of keep everybody in the loop of types of security threats that I see out there. And given the holiday season, one of the ones that I see the most is people getting these new shiny toys or big TVs. And, with tax season coming in, if we ever get our tax money back because the government shut down. But with tax season, coming in, people buy these big TVs and then they'll leave the boxes outside the front of their house by the trash cans, or they will just stuff it in the trash can. And if I'm what I call a shopper, which is a criminal driving up and down your streets looking for my next target, and I see that you got this big 72-inch flat screen TV, I'm going to think, damn, that's the house I want to break into. Cut those boxes up until your lid is shut. You have a lot less chance of somebody breaking in looking for that TV if they don't see it. Out of sight, out of mind. A lot of people think that their houses are safe all the time, and they're not. I do teach classes on this program through the NRA. It's called Refuse to be a Victim. Great program, but it reminds people because you start to think, you get too complacent. You don't pay attention to your surroundings. You go in and out of that Fry's or that grocery store all the time. Nothing ever happens. But being aware increases that possibility that something is going to happen. And I preach to everybody, pay attention. Don't jump on your cell phone right away when you walk out the building. Look around, see what's going on. See if there's anybody watching you. Now, when it comes to your house, people leave their blinds wide open. Yeah, it's kind of nice to show off, your lights and your blinds or your Christmas tree and all that stuff. But at the same time, a shopper/criminal is going to be looking for those same things. So keep it out of sight, out of mind. I like to preach that to people, because in my industry, I've seen so many people say, yeah, I had my purse sitting on the driver's seat or the passenger seat, and I just went in for a minute. That's all it takes. Doors can be busted in with a simple kick if you don't take other measures on that. And we're actually going to have a show later on about things like that you can do to make your home a little bit safer. But that won't be today because That one I got to put a lot of notes together for. But I do teach that class, and it's a really, really good class the NRA has called Refuse to be a Victim. And it's not just, home safety. It could talk about, workplace safety. We talk about personal safety equipment that you can get. And it's a great, great class. And I really do enjoy teaching it because I'm all about teaching security to people and want to make sure that I can make the world a little better, each day, and when I leave the world, hopefully made the world a lot better. So, but yeah, check it out if you can. NRA's website, Refuse to be a Victim. There's classes in pretty much every state you could think of. It's just a matter of somebody's registered. I do hold them from time to time, and when I do have one coming up, I will be putting some information on our Facebook page on It's Pappy Hour, and we'll be making an announcement here as well. So we've got that. So keep those boxes, those papers, receipts, all that stuff. Make sure they get in the trash can, and you can close that lid. Okay. All right. So let's talk about one of the first topics that we've got on our thing today: Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I mean, if you've ever been in my home, I've got Star Wars everywhere. I wear Star Wars T-shirts. When my brother was born in 1980, is when Empire Strikes Back came out, and we actually went to see it the day he was born. So that was kind of cool. And I've had Star Wars figures. It's just Star Wars for me is a really good show. I like the storylines with it. The originals were good. I like the prequels, even though a lot of people bash on the prequels. I like them because they got good stories. I'm a big fan of the new stuff that's come out, and I'm really looking forward to episode 9. And I've got some theories on that. Hopefully, there's no spoilers. You haven't seen The Force Awakens or the Last Jedi, but I think this one's going to be called Rebellion Reborn or something along with the Rebellion. Because if you remember when they were at Crete, Kylo Ren is facing Luke Skywalker. And he says, this is at the end of the Jedi. The Rebellion's reborn. I think that is going to be the name of the new movie. It's said to take place a couple years later on down the road. So hopefully Rey has some other Jedis. The broom boy at the end of The Last Jedi. I think he's going to be an integral part of this as well. And I'm curious to see what they're going to do with General Leia's, person. I'm trying to think of the character. There you go. Because since Carrie Fisher died, they apparently had recorded all this other stuff. And so we'll see. That's going to be interesting. But I have a feeling that we're going to see the Knights of Ren in there, which is going to be really cool. And I think we're going to see Luke Skywalker in the most powerful form you'll ever see him, and I think he's going to have the ability to bring himself back. I don't think he died, so to say. He just disappeared, became one with the Force, and I think he's going to be able to use those powers. So it's going to be interesting, though, but I can tell you, when it comes down to that movie, I will absolutely be in line waiting to see that show. Alrighty, let's see here. What else we got? Alright, government shutdown. This one's really interesting. This is one I don't get at all. Alright, so government, they decide they can't come to an agreement on the budget. Okay? Can't come to an agreement on the budget. But yet, they still want to get paid. Dozens of the high-ranking officials were actually supposed to get raises this year. Yeah, they were supposed to get a 2.1% raise. But, what I don't understand is how they can get a raise and the average person in the world can't get a raise. But yet, just because they can't come to an agreement, they've got to shut down the whole government. Now, I get it. It's over the whole border wall thing. Trump won't sign something unless he gets money for the border wall. But at the same time, why are they still getting paid? I honestly, without a doubt, say nobody in the Senate or the House should be getting paid at all. If they can't come to a budget, then they don't get paid, period. You got people like flight controllers. They're over at the airports right now not getting paid. It's been 3 weeks not getting paid, and yet they're still working to keep our skies safe. We've got contractors that work with the government, security companies. They're not receiving any checks. They're not going to receive any checks. Now, are they obligated to still work? Yes, because it's part of the contract. But who's going to eat that money? And some of these companies, it could put them out of business, cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't get it. But yet, it's okay. Government gets shut down whenever the hell they want because they can't come to an agreement. And they can't seem to put a budget together. Now, I get it. I'm not necessarily saying I'm the biggest, badass. I know all this budget stuff. I know all this political stuff. I'm sure there's a lot of wheeling and dealing going on. But at the same time, I don't know if they're looking after the people or if they're looking after their pockets. I mean, I'd love to be able to talk to a couple of senators and kind of question them on some things. Try to pick their mind and see what they're saying about that. But, I just don't get that at all. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of people, government employees, contractors, and they don't even know if they're ever going to see that money. And some of those people still have to work because it's an integral part of the government that's actually, working. And it's just obnoxious as hell. So, yeah, let's see here. But I can go on and on and on about the government shutdown because that's something that I think that is absolutely ridiculous. And I would really like to hear some opinions on, there are people say the government shutdown's good, government shutdown's bad. I like to hear those different point of views to see what everybody says. But for me, I think it's just absolutely ridiculous. And I think everybody, if you can't balance the budget, then... And it's been, 2 years now, they still haven't been able to balance the budget. We've had several shutdowns. Then they need to be replaced because, shit, if I can't do my job, I get fired and I'll get replaced. One of my employees can't do their job, they get fired, they get replaced. Well, obviously, senators and, the people in the House can't do their job. Shit, they should be replaced. Why not? I mean, I know we voted them in and all that, but there should be something in there that if they can't handle the job, they can't, come to budgets, then, you know what, they don't deserve their raises. Even though it may be 2.1%, but we're talking to all these other people that are barely living over the poverty line here. And I don't get it. I mean, I could probably rack my brains on this one for hours and hours and hours and not really get any place with it. So, all right, so we got a man that is in Oregon. He is suing Burger King. Now, it's not food poisoning. It's not, for anything huge, which is kind of weird. He didn't get hurt, but he's suing them because they backed out of what they agreed on a handshake. There's no paperwork on it, but there's a handshake. Okay, free meals for life. So this guy he says he was offered the deal because he got locked in the bathroom for more than an hour at the restaurant. So apparently they had to slide him a fly swatter because nobody can open the door from the outside. Nobody can open the door from the inside because the door was, jacked. It was jammed. So they had to slide him a fly swatter. He had to jimmy the door open, which he actually cut his hand. So I guess he did get hurt. Okay. And then he claims that the other side was laughing while he was locked in there. So he was in there for over an hour. Now, yeah, I'm pretty sure, some of these restaurants are necessarily have the cleanest bathrooms. I get that. But still, to be locked in a bathroom, for me, it'd be pretty traumatic. I mean, I'd be freaking out. I'd probably losing my shit, literally. So they offered him, the manager said, you can get free food for the rest of your life should you come into this restaurant. And they did it for a few weeks. And then the regional manager said, oh, no, we're not doing that. So now he's going down for a jury trial, which is going to be really interesting if they even do that. And he's seeking $9,000 because that is the cost of one burger meal a week until he turns 72. So I think that's kind of interesting, but, I've never seen anybody sue over free meals for life, but apparently it's a big deal for him, so, but to be locked in the bathroom, and I mean, I would have been kicking on that door, anything I can to get that door open. But, yeah, you never know if you're going to get out of the bathroom alive. Literally. That's awesome. Alright, let's talk about some of the movies that have been coming out lately. You know, I've been real fortunate that I've gotten to see some of the bigger movies lately with one of my clients. And one of the ones I got to see, Aquaman. I actually really, really enjoyed this movie because I'm a DC fan. I'm a superhero fan. Batman and Superman are the two top of my list. Now, if we could just get DC to follow Marvel and actually take care of their people and keep the same person on, because it's kind of annoying to see a new Batman every freaking film. They're already talking about letting Henry Cavill go for Superman. You know, he probably the best one since Christopher Reeve. I actually enjoyed Ben Affleck's Batman, the older Batman. It'd be really great if they could bring Michael Keaton back in, you know, as an older Batman. That would work great. But DC just can't seem to get it right. But Aquaman, really good movie. Really good graphics. I thought the underwater scenes were kind of interesting. Good storyline to it. So I gave that one a 4 out of 5. I was really impressed with that one. Xscape Room, that was another one that came out. I was actually expecting this to be like a slasher kind of film, but it was really good. You know, hopefully there's a spoiler alert here, so if you know you're not going to want to hear it, you'll probably want to pass about 2 minutes of the show. But Xscape Room, you know, it's not like what you would think. You know, a bunch of people having fun. They're actually dying in this. You know, they're getting cooked alive and all this stuff. And you know, the whole time I'm watching the movie, I'm trying to figure out how to get out of the damn room. And then I'm thinking to myself, what would I do if I was in that situation? And you know, that's probably the security part of me that does that. And I could tell you that it was a pretty good movie. I gave that one a 4 out of 5 as well. It could have been a 5 out of 5, but the ending was kind of ridiculous for me a little bit. But looks like they're going to come out with a sequel, so that should be interesting. I don't know if they're going to call it Escaped again or Re-Escape or whatever the case may be, but that might be interesting. And then, of course, Game of Thrones, not necessarily a movie, but it's on HBO, and it's a big deal right now, and we're getting ready to see that finally coming back after 2 years of being off the air. And so that looks like it's going to be in April, but they're only going to do 6 episodes. But they do say that the episodes this time are about 80 to 90 minutes each. So they'll be a little bit longer, but that should be really good to see. And Game of Thrones is a lot of fun to watch. I really do enjoy that. Another one that was kind of interesting, and my son, Busted Jeeber, got me into watching was Stranger Things. I thought that was going to be real corny, but I really did enjoy that one quite a bit. So Stranger Things might be a fun one for you to check out if you do watch on Netflix and all that. Here's an interesting story about Pappy, though. I was actually in a movie once with Kevin Costner, Rene Russo, and Cheech Marin called Tin Cup. Now, I did not have a big part in it, but that's kind of cool anyway. I can still say I was in it. But there's a fight scene where Don Johnson fires Kevin Costner, and he's ranting and raving and throwing his golf clubs around, and I'm in that scene. So if you ever watch it, and it's this ugly orange hat, I'm the tallest guy by like 1.5 feet, which is really weird, and I'm in the back. Now, of course, I don't have the best of hearing, so I didn't even hear him say action. So you can literally watch my mouth kind of say, what the F, you know, because I didn't know that it started, as I thought maybe they were just practicing again and whatnot. So yeah, that little bit made the scene, so that was kind of interesting. It was a lot of fun. It was filmed down in Tucson back in, I want to say 94, maybe 95, and, 96. And we went down to Tubac for those scenes, but one of the obnoxious things was Don Johnson. He had to fly in by helicopter every day. He was too good to drive in or get a ride in, so he had to fly in by helicopter every day. And we had to go stand out on this golf course and form the letters DJ, Don Johnson. And of all the people that were in the movie, he was the biggest jerk. But everybody else, Kevin Costner was really cool. Cheech Marin was great. Rene Russo was great. One of the things I got to do on that is the second day on it, I got to be kind of like Mr. Costner's water boy. So I would hand him a new bottle of water after every take, and I said, "Here you go, Mr. Costner." And he goes, "You know what? You can call me Kevin. What's your name?" So I was like, "Holy crap! He wants to know my name." So my name's, I gave him my name, and the whole day it was great. I was giving him water. We're calling each other by first name basis, and then the next day, I go, "Here's your water, Kevin." He goes, "Excuse me, who are you? You need to call me Mr. Costner." But it was funny. So, but I got to be his water boy, so it was kind of cool. And then I got called for the movie, what was it? The Postman, post-apocalyptic movie kind of thing, and but I said no because I needed to be able to ride a horse, which I don't know how to, and I had to shave my head, and at that time I had the party going on with the hair, so I had to make sure that it looked good for the girls. Wasn't about to shave my head, so that was kind of interesting. Let's see, your story of the week. So, as you know, I've got my two littles. I've got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. And New Year came around, so my 4-year-old was going around all day long. Happy New Christmas. Happy New Christmas. And I said, "What? Why are you saying Happy New Christmas?" And she's all, "Because Christmas has come faster. Christmas is next week for my birthday." So I had to break it to her that Christmas isn't coming around for a whole another year. I don't think she believes me. She believes that Christmas is coming faster. So it was Happy New Christmas. I was at the Army surplus store. I like to go in there and kind of walk around since I'm a prepper and, just kind of see what's going on. And I came across this book and I was blown away. It's how to make munitions, improvised munitions, to make pipe bombs and all this stuff. And I was surprised that it's actually an Army technical manual from 1969. And reading through that's some pretty dangerous stuff. Pipe bombs, gas bombs, how to take your gunpowder out of your bullets and turn it into a bigger bomb. And it was, for $9. I mean, and then again, it was written in 1969, so the pictures were all hand drawn. But it's some pretty interesting stuff. So I'm gonna have to do some reading on that and kind of see what kind of stuff I can come up with and talk about. That just comes to show you, even in the security world, when I do my training classes for my people, we talk about bomb threats and all that, and it just shows you how easy it is to find things to do a bomb threat. So, and then I learned a new word today, which really interested my girlfriend and her best friend. Were together and they were talking about an ex or something like that, and I kept hearing the word mangina, and I'm like, "What the hell did you just say?" She's, "Oh, mangina. You never heard mangina?" And I'm like, "No, I've never heard mangina." But once they explained to me, it's a sissy man kind of thing. I was like, wow, okay, I get it now. But mangina, so that was the word of the day that I got today, so that was kind of interesting. Now we're about almost the 30-minute mark, which is actually pretty good. We've kind of covered a lot today, and as I get better with these programs, they'll get a little bit longer. But today we're going to keep it about 30 minutes. But here's my thought of the day, Pappy's thought of the day. Okay, I want you to really, really think about this. Maybe plants are on the top of the food chain, not us. Because if you think about it, they're farming us. They're giving us oxygen. And then when we die, we turn into mulch. We go in the ground, and they eat us. I'm telling you, plants are farming us. They're the devil. Devil. That's right. So we got that. Now, next week, we're actually going to be doing our first person interview, which is good. I'm excited about this because this is a new guy that I met, a family friend that I really am proud of, and somebody that I really, really enjoy talking with. His name is Sean, and he is in high school, and he's come out openly gay to his parents. And I was kind of curious, how they would do that. I mean, when I grew up back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, it was a lot different. If somebody was to break the news to their parents in today's society. So I want to hear from him. We're going to talk about how it is in high school. How people could talk to their parents and kind of get his point of view on how life is and all that. So I'm really, really excited about that, really interested. But we'll be doing that interview over the phone or through Skype. So I will be learning how to put that into the program. So I'm excited about that. But it's going to be fun. So Sean's going to be with us next week. And if you like to try to talk about a topic, or if there's something that you think we should cover, let me know. Drop a line. I'm always looking forward to talking with other people. We can talk guns. We can talk anything and everything. Video games. Politics, we might have to be careful with. Religion, never know. We could probably talk about that, but piss a lot of people off with that. But I really want to thank everybody again. You guys, I really am thankful that I've had so many people already download. And hopefully, spread the word. Tell people about Pappy Hour. Maybe share the Facebook posts and try to get some more listeners in there, because as we get more listeners, it makes it easier for me to come up with more ideas. But I want everybody out there to be safe. Take care of each other. The world's already crazy enough as it is. We don't need any more crazies out there. And until next week, I will talk to you later. Have a good one, everybody.